Hello, I'm James Dodd and welcome to the Liberty A-League Highlights Show. The final game of the 2023-24 Liberty A-League campaign took place at Amy Park, where the best teams from the regular season squared off for the right to be crowned champions. After pipping Sydney FC to the Premier's plate on the final day of the season, Melbourne City then flexed their muscles in the semi-finals, securing the right to host the grand final after thrashing Newcastle Jets 6-0 on aggregate and sending a strong message to their rivals. As for the Sky Blues, well, after finishing second on the ladder, Sydney FC had to overcome the high-flying Central Coast Mariners over two legs, and they did so care of 2 goals from star midfielder Mackenzie Hawkesby as they edged past the Mariners 2-1 to book safe passage through to the grand final in Melbourne. In terms of their recent meetings, Melbourne City have lost only one of their 8 Liberty A-League games against Sydney FC in their home state of Victoria. However, the Sky Blues' recent record in post-season knockout games is frightening, unbeaten in their last 4 as they bid to win back-to-back championships for the first time in club history. Your match commentators for the Liberty A-League Grand Final are Grace Gill and Teo Pellizzeri.
The grand final, the grandest stage of all between two incredibly grand teams. Melbourne City and Sydney FC, both 4-time champions of the Liberty A-League. Who will claim the title for a 5th time? Amy Park getting ready to break what at least should be a record in Victoria, perhaps something to challenge the grand final record for the entire Liberty A-League. Melbourne City and Sydney FC meeting for the 4th time in 16 grand finals. These two know so much about the pointy end. Let's take a look at how Melbourne City line up. 2 changes. Melissa Barbieri is in due to a quad injury for the Brazilian goalkeeper Barbara, who is out completely. Emily Shields, the 34-year-old, has been brought out of retirement to sit on the bench. The bench is where the only other change takes place for Melbourne City. Injured 15-year-old Shelby McMahon drops out for Tian McKenna, who joins sister Letitia amongst the substitutes. Sydney FC have been completely unchanged for the last 2 games. The second leg, a 1-1 draw against Central Coast in the semi-final, enough to get them through to the decider 2-1 on aggregate. However, it is 2 different changes from when the teams last met in February. Kirsty Fenton and Maddie Caspers both ruled out of this grand final, along with Fiona Wirtz, who was unable to make her case with a late dash at selection. Melissa Barbieri was an unused sub in the 2020 grand final, played behind closed doors due to COVID right here at Amy Park. Look how fired up she is. This is the goalkeeper who played against the USA in the 2015 World Cup opener at late notice after a surprise selection. This is nothing new to Bubs. At the other end, Jada Wyman, 10 clean sheets. The best of the goalkeepers in that stat this season. She'll be hoping to protect that net and deliver Sydney FC a 5th Liberty A-League championship. So the countdown is on to kick off in the 2024 Liberty A-League Grand Final. And Sydney FC away from home at Amy Park start against Melbourne City. The battle for number 5, and Courtney Vine has her say in the opening seconds, winning an early foul. Former Matilda Grace Gill, Courtney Vine expecting to be one of the main protagonists today.
Well, she'll be exactly that. Thank you. Good afternoon, Teo. And what a matchup between these 2 teams. What a blistering start that is from Sydney FC, launching the ball into their own attacking half.
So a wide free kick. Think back to last season's grand final, the earliest goal in grand final history, a header by Madison Haley on the end of a corner from Mackenzie Hawkesby. Haley's not here, Hawkesby is, and she's on delivery with this early free kick. In it swings, Taylor Otto, the American, gets it away. As far as Margot Chevet hooked on, Jordan Thompson, great save! Melissa Barbieri denies the American defender Thompson, and that would have been the fastest grand final goal with just 59 seconds on the clock.
Well, it was a pretty helpful flick over the head there from Margot Chevet, and Jordan Thompson found herself in a very handy position. Steely focus from the experienced Barbieri, and that is a top draw save.
Otto keen to make amends, dispossesses Shay Holman, has Daniela Garlich join in, and then Holman left a boot in, and Garlich, against her fellow young Matilda's teammate, is able to draw a foul.
Very early doors here. The first 5 minutes, the first 2, Sydney knocking on the door. asking questions, forcing saves out of Melissa Barbieri. City quite composed, haven't been shaken by that fiery start we saw from Sydney.
Couple of aerial targets for City to aim for. Hannah Wilkinson, the most obvious one. Kiwi striker, 10 in 22 this season. 30 and 50 in her A-League career, though. A great strike rate. And Taylor Otto also has plenty of height about her. 2 goals this season. She moved to Australia, previously playing for Glasgow Celtic in Scotland. Long discussion here. Amina Rekic, the left footer, and Rihanna Polisina, who's pretty good on both feet, but nominally a right footer. And it looks as though Polisina has won the discussion. Puts it into the direction of Wilkinson, and a good save by Wyman. Otto, and now Polisina, and this time wide of the target, but both keepers have already had a big statement, and you can see Wyman's turn to pump herself up.
Well, it's an entertaining start, isn't it? This discussion around the free kick, I think, would have been, if they didn't follow Ekic on that right-hand side, the delivery resulted from the ball in from Polisina, which was a good one.
Abby Lemon finds the safety of touch, and Melbourne City now starting to work through the gears of their own.
Well, we know Melbourne City, possession-based football, like to be on the ball, like to just wait and try and open up spaces between their opposition's defence, and we saw a tidy bit of play in that last passage. Danny Gullidge just tidy touch around the corner that opened things up for Briley Henry, who's really finding her feet in this right fullback position.
Of course, Briley Henry started her career, even got identified for a Matilda's call-up, playing as a poacher in attack, scoring forward. She's on the right wing here, making good ground against Lemon. Gullidge twisting and turning and finding an opening, and the shot, well, it didn't have a huge amount of power, but it's still got a bobble out of Jada Wyman. But the 17-year-old Daniela Gullidge,
she's a special player, attracted 2-3 Sydney FC defenders, still manages to swerve her way out of danger.
Davidson, Polisina, back to Grosso.
This game had the potential to be a real arm wrestle, and it is, but it's entertaining so far. There's been a lot of action, a lot of movement. Some big challenges like that one.
Spectacular foul here on Margot Chevet. And if the Melbourne City bench were unhappy about a yellow card not being produced for some of the earlier fouls, Julia Grosso becoming the first player to go in the book here is likely to draw their ire even further. McLean. Vine. Flicked it on, a slip from Stott, and Hawkesby stolen a march. Hawkesby looking for a beanie. And Briley Henry saves the day. So uncharacteristic, but it's not just that it was Rebecca Stott slipping to open the gap, it's that Stott wasn't there to help go and put out that fire.
So often Stott is the steady head at the back there, just lost her footing, unfortunately. It looked like it opened up very nicely for Sydney FC. Mackenzie Hawkesby probably could have kept driving toward goal. Good cover nonetheless from Briley Henry.
Fourth official, Georgia Ghirardello, has signalled just 1 additional minute at the end of this first half. Precious seconds for one of these two teams to totally change the tone of this grand final. Amina Rekic could have that moment. And Hannah Wilkinson able to chase down a pretty difficult pass, it must be said, but again, the dash and the run and the ball control is exciting, but the pass is what's been missing.
Well, it's skipping off the surface a little bit as well. I really like that run from Amina Rekic, just driving inside between the lines, looking for the reverse pass to Wilkinson, which, had she got the delivery right, was a very good idea.
Wyman managing the clock here, trying to prevent Melbourne City having any more say in this first 45, and as the ball loops down in front of the City bench, they're going to need to rely on a bit of generosity from the referee here, because the 1 minute of additional time is up. Stott, and that will do for the first half. And a game that started with a flurry of attacking and close-range saves has now become very much a tug-of-war where neither side will give a centimetre. Lots to ponder in the halftime talk for both teams. The question is, are we going to play 90 or 120 today? Because at halftime, it's Melbourne City 0, Sydney FC 0. Yes, Melbourne City huddling up one last time before they kick off the second half of this scoreless grand final to date. Suzumini D-Max is back out for the second half, pulling double duty, the D-Max. Great to see Sophie Harding acknowledged as the Dolan medalist. Player of the season. Western Sydney Wanderers fell agonisingly short of making the top 6. They needed just a draw. And they lost in the final round of the season. That left the door open for Newcastle, and the rest was history. So the start of the second half of this grand final, Jada Wyman and Melissa Barbieri were busy in the first 10 minutes, and then it became a real midfield battle thereafter. Still waiting on the first goal to break the deadlock between these two teams. Two incredibly determined goalkeepers, making sure it's not them that concedes. And that whistle gets us underway at the start of the second half of the 2024 Liberty A-League Grand Final. Melbourne City and Sydney FC still yet to find the back of the net. No substitutions for either team at half-time, and the only card in the first half was to Julia Grosso, number 7, left back for Melbourne City. Grace Gill, as you rejoin me in the commentary box. Firstly, just a word on Sophie Harding winning the Dolan medal.
Well, it was a fantastic season from Harding, wasn't it, for the Western Sydney Wanderers, finding the back of the net and having a breakout season by her standard too. So a very big congratulations to Harding. And you could see as well what it meant to her at half-time.
Margot Chevet has continued to be a midfield wrecking ball for Sydney FC in this game. And again was hefty in the challenge there, able to win possession back for the visiting team. Garlich. Pass slides on, Amina Rekic twists away from Tumeth. And the shot's blocked. Good recovery by McLean and Tumeth. Now Ekic ushered down to the corner. Leah Davidson. Julia Grosso. Shay Connors was a game changer in the first leg of the semi-final against the Central Coast. Lucy Johnson, Taylor Ray, Kaylee Talon-Henniker, and the backup keeper Talia Franco there. The players that Sydney FC have to choose from. How much burst is left in those legs, though? Missed pass from Hughes, straight to Thompson. Navini's a lone hand. Trying to be the outlet pass, and City immediately sweep on the ball.
Well, Ekic has done that on a few occasions, driving into the middle of the park, but not able to get the shot away. Looking for the preferred left foot. I think with City, with the amount of possession, the amount of touches they have on the ball, that the odd occasion of just getting a shot away isn't a bad option either. But in answer to your question, Teo, it's ordinarily closer to the 70th minute mark that Dario tends to look to the bench in terms of a change.
Here's Garlich squeezing it through. Polisina. Wilkinson making ground in the middle. Polisina did not get to the ball before the byline loomed large. It's out for the goal kick. But you saw the stat pop up a moment ago. Melbourne City, as we have another look at the one ball call here that went against Rihanna Polisina. Well out, good assistant refereeing. More than 100 passes differential inside the opponent's attacking half in this second half alone. We haven't even been playing 20 minutes. Sydney FC have connected just 15 passes in their attacking half. Melbourne City now ticking past 120. Can they turn territorial dominance, though, into shots on goal? Here's Taylor Otto, the defender getting forward. Otto bursting into the box. Otto! I guess when you're standing in defence, watching the passing going around without anyone shooting, Otto decided, give me a go. Set it wide.
It's not a bad option either, just as mentioned. Sometimes varying it up, getting a shot away, it puts the goalkeeper on notice, it puts the defence on notice.
Wilkinson's flick header on. Ibini immediately trapped in a 2-on-1, and Grosso emerges with the ball, wants to break laterally across the pitch though. Riley Henry back to Grosso, who stayed forward. Grosso at the edge of the box and then tried to force it on, immediately turns to the referee, pleading for a foul. None forthcoming.
There's been a couple of enterprising runs into the middle of the park. Grosso, we saw Otto a few moments earlier as well. Defenders just starting to get a little bit impatient, but perhaps that's part of the game plan as well.
For Shay Connor's substitution to be made, and Shay has just entered the fray. She looked really impressive when she came on at Leichhardt Oval last week. She's got pace to burn, and she provides Sydney FC with another outlet in attack.
And with Princess Sabini making way, the captain's armband has found its way over to Mackenzie Hawkesby. Thank you, Neve. And there's Hawkesby now, just readjusting that yellow captain's armband around the left sleeve. Grace, what do you make of the sub? Connor's on for Ibini. We saw it work to great effect in the first leg of the semi-final when Sydney beat the Central Coast.
Yeah, really unsurprised to see Shay Connors substituted on. She's got just that extra gear of pace. Testing the back line, we saw her do exactly that against the Central Coast Mariners. Just a little more dynamic. Princess Ibini plays a really good role, coming to protect the ball and receive it to feet. Shay Connors, on the other hand, she looks for the ball over the top, she looks for the ball in behind, and if City continue to press forward and have a lot of contained possession, one thing is for sure, and that's going to be the amount of space in behind their defensive line.
And immediately you can see the effect Connors has had there with the press. Fresh legs, new energy, but she still needs to score a first goal in Sydney FC colours. Moving down from the Brisbane Roar this season, this will be appearance number 15. No better time to score a first goal for Sydney than a grand final. Here's Policina as Melbourne City probe the other end, and Charlotte McLean has been so reliable today and hooks the ball out to safety once more. Sabini icing up the hamstring there. See Margot Chevet, who's already left the game, 2 seats down. Here's Indiana Dos Santos. Connors calling for a ball over the top. It's a great pass from Dos Santos. Connors! Sydney FC lead in the grand final! And Shay Connors, magic off the bench! And what an assist to play her in from 16-year-old Indiana Dos Santos! Is that the goal that wins Sydney? Number 5.
Well, there's the energy, there's the impact we knew Shay Connors would provide. And on the Harvey Norman replay, it's a delightful assist from Indy Dos Santos. The run off the shoulder of her defender, the first time finish from Connors, the celebration. Sydney FC take the lead. And boy, when they score first, can they hold on to a lead?
Great finish, and Grace, you described the function of Shay Connors and how she would change this Sydney attack to perfection moments later, breaking into space, and where she hasn't had the shooting boots on this season, at long last, first goal since March of last year, Shay Connors has her first goal in Sydney FC colours. 10 minutes of regulation to go. It's been a good clean game in terms of the pace of the game and very little time wasting, so there's not going to be a huge amount of stoppage time unless there's a major delay in these last 10 minutes, you suspect. Melbourne City need to make every one of these seconds count as they chase the game. They've never lost a grand final before. They had a perfect 4 from 4 record coming in today. Dos Santos in a real scrap and tangle, and the foul goes her way.
And this too is where City need to be really mindful of challenges, of not allowing Sydney time just to slow the game down. Sydney will be comfortable 10 minutes. Their defensive shape is so disciplined, so compact.
Vine can't free the feet for a shot, and safety first defending from Grosso. McLean, Policina just trying to dink it forward regardless of where it goes. Now with maybe a bit more direction at the feet of Ekic. Chimeth, the stand-up tackle. Polisina followed in. Garlich. Taken to ground by Chimeth. And it will be a yellow card and some acrimony and afters. Polisina has been a club teammate of Chimeth in the past, but in the heat of battle, friendships are set aside.
Yeah, it was a poor challenge by Chimeth, just pulling Garlich to the ground. Undeniably a yellow card. Frustrations just bringing over. Team leaders quick just to intervene and not allow that to boil over into anything further. It's a City free kick in a really good position.
Tori Chimeth, first Sydney FC player in the book, joins Julia Grosso of Melbourne City. No Hannah Wilkinson to aim for at these set pieces anymore. All about the delivery for Amina Ekic then. Ekic driving to the penalty spot, all Sydney FC at the fall of the ball. Polisina, stop. Trying to force it through, it took a touch off McLean. Ekic on the tight angle! And now McKenna the sub! Deflected out for a corner. Thrilling stuff, desperate defending, and Sydney FC know how important that goal line stand was.
We saw the impact of Connors, the substitute. Almost saw the same in Letitia McKenna, a goal line clearance.
No time wasted over the corner. Oh, first header there for Stott, but glanced it well wide of the target, didn't make great contact.
Well, pressure building. This is a ball that fell really kindly to Amina Ekic. Clever vision, a good first touch from McKenna. And how about that glancing header, steering that over the crossbar.
Chimeth will win the ball. Stott scoops it forward. Stoppage time expires with City in possession. Garlich, Polisina, Chimeth came through and won the ball. Casey Rybelt looks at the watch. Sydney FC, top of the mountain. A fifth championship for the Sky Blues. The best of 2023-24. And now, without doubt, without dispute, the best in the Liberty A-League, both this season and in its history. The entire squad explodes off the bench. Congratulations for Jana Wyman. Congratulations for this heroic defence that stood tall and did not concede under 99 minutes of examination. The final score, Melbourne City 0, Sydney FC 1.
So Shay Connors coming off the bench to win Sydney FC the match as the Sky Blues retain their championship crown for the first time in history and now become the most successful side in the A-League's era, having won a record-breaking 5th Liberty A-League title. That's all for this season on the Liberty A-League Highlight Show. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next season.